Have you ever noticed certain women seem eternally youthful, not just in appearance, but in how they approach life? At first glance, there's something charming about someone who keeps a childlike spark alive. But beneath that bright, playful surface often lies a much deeper and unsettling struggle. From the time we are young, we are surrounded by images of what a woman should be. Effortlessly beautiful, full of life, untouched by time. We are told that youth is not just a stage, but a measure of worth. And so, many women grow up. Hand in hand with society's romanticizing of eternal youth comes one of the deepest fears many women silently carry: the fear of aging. Jung believed this fear wasn't simply about wrinkles or grey hairs. It ran much deeper, touching on identity and self-worth. For a woman deeply attached to youthful beauty, getting older isn't just about appearance. It feels like losing her value. Think about how often women are celebrated for being young and beautiful. It only feeds the cycle, making women even more emotionally dependent and fearful of the inevitable changes age brings. This attachment to youth traps them in a form of emotional immaturity. Instead of developing internal qualities like wisdom, resilience, and self-awareness, qualities that deepen naturally with age, they remain stuck, forever chasing youthfulness and the fleeting approval that comes with it. In trying to stay eternally young, they risk never truly growing up at all. Instead of taking control and creating stability, she stays trapped in anxiety, avoiding conversations about money altogether. Even day-to-day choices, like signing a lease, buying a car, or committing to a long-term goal, feel paralyzing because they symbolize adulthood. Deep down, she believes she isn't ready, isn't capable, or simply isn't mature enough to handle real responsibilities. Every commitment feels like a trap rather than an opportunity, keeping her stuck in a perpetual state of adolescence. It's not simply about staying young at heart, it's about a profound unwillingness to truly embrace adulthood. Imagine a woman who is forever waiting for life to happen to her, rather than actively shaping it herself. She's the dreamer who constantly fantasizes about future possibilities, but hesitates to take real steps toward achieving them. She lives suspended between what is and what could be, caught up in romantic ideals and visions of perfection. And because reality rarely matches these fantasies, she often ends up feeling disappointed, unfulfilled, and emotionally fragile. But there's a darker side she avoids. She steers clear of responsibilities, hard decisions, and the mundane realities of everyday life. Because deep down, adulthood feels suffocating, even terrifying. At her core is emotional dependence, a subtle but powerful reliance on others to guide her, validate her, or rescue her from responsibility. Sometimes it's subtler, like constantly seeking approval or needing others to reassure her that her choices are okay. Deep down, she's unsure of herself, afraid that if she stands alone, she might fail or be rejected. While the eternal boy avoids adulthood through rebellion, restlessness, and perpetual wandering, the eternal girl often avoids it through romantic idealism, emotional reliance, and a persistent sense of incompleteness. Both archetypes share a fundamental refusal to face life fully, but their escape routes differ. Now, you might be thinking about people you know, or even recognizing aspects of yourself. She hasn't learned to trust her own judgment because she's never been allowed to develop it. Even minor choices, like choosing her major at university or handling conflicts at her first job, feel overwhelming. Every decision feels huge and anxiety-provoking because she's rarely had to face real responsibility without someone nearby to catch her. The consequences don't stop there. Without practice facing challenges early on, small disappointments trigger emotional meltdowns or avoidance, pushing her even further away from independence. In relationships and friendships, this emotional dependency becomes obvious. She constantly seeks reassurance, approval, or direction from others, because she genuinely doesn't know how to find these within herself. Recognizing this isn't easy. Sometimes it's rooted even deeper, hidden in experiences many of us carry silently. Unresolved trauma. When someone experiences trauma during childhood or adolescence, whether it's loss, betrayal, neglect, or emotional wounds they've never fully processed, a part of their emotional growth freezes in place. To avoid reactivating that pain, they subconsciously steer clear of situations that remind them of their wounds. As adults, these women often seem stuck in repetitive cycles. It looks like immaturity, but internally, it's self-defense, a protective strategy they developed long ago. The trouble is, this defense mechanism doesn't just protect them, it traps them. By constantly avoiding discomfort, they miss the opportunity to heal and grow. But emotional immaturity isn't only shaped by personal experiences. Often, it's quietly encouraged by society itself, by the subtle pressures and messages we absorb every day without even realizing it. Think about the expectations placed on women from a young age. Always be pleasant, always be attractive. Society repeatedly rewards the image of women as youthful, carefree, charmingly naive, and even helpless, being likable, youthful, agreeable, rather than taking the harder road of authentic internal growth. It rarely shows its darker side, the loneliness and dissatisfaction that emerge when you realize you've spent your life performing instead of genuinely growing. Think about the influencer culture. How many grown women spend hours each day carefully curating an image of carefree, effortless youthfulness? The pressure to appear perpetually young and free-spirited often forces them to suppress deeper desires or ambitions, because those ambitions don't align with the persona they've created. Over time, the gap between who they are and how they're perceived grows wider, causing anxiety, depression, or a quiet feeling of emptiness. This cultural narrative isn't easy to challenge because it's so deeply embedded in our daily lives. But recognizing this dynamic is crucial. Freeing yourself from the need to constantly be validated by external approval. It's about reclaiming your true self from a society that might prefer. Did you recognize some of these patterns in yourself or someone you know? Imagine a girl who grows up repeatedly told to be nice, be gentle, and don't be bossy. Whenever she asserts herself or shows ambition, she's labeled as too much or difficult. Over time, she learns to push those powerful qualities deep into her subconscious, hiding them away in order to be liked or accepted. But here's the problem. These qualities don't disappear. Instead, they simmer beneath the surface. Whenever she faces a situation that demands independence or assertiveness, maybe at work or in personal decisions, she feels deeply uncomfortable. She may avoid stepping up, sabotage herself, or passively let others decide for her. This behavior isn't because she's weak, it's because expressing these suppressed traits feels wrong or threatening. This repression keeps women emotionally immature. Instead of confidently facing life's challenges, they're stuck in a passive role, quietly resentful, yet afraid to fully embrace their inner strength. When emotional immaturity goes unchecked, it quietly shapes every aspect of life.